The book of Numbers, chapter 17, and making sure the mic is on. Yes, it is. Number 17. Yo, the big man upstairs gave Moses the lowdown. He was like, yo, guys and gals of Israel, listen up. So grab a rod from each one of y'all, like your pops or grandpops, doesn't matter. Make sure it's from your fam tree. And here's the deal. We need 12 rods, one from each prince in the fam. Oh, and don't forget to write your name on your rod, all righty? And you got to scribble Aaron's name on the Levi's rod, because one rod is going to represent the big boss of their family house. And like you got to store them in the tabernacle of the congregation, right in front of the testimony where I'm going to meet up with you. So like, here's the deal. The chosen dude's stick is totally going to bloom, and I'll shut down all the whining from the Israelites who keep complaining about you. So Moses talked to the kids of Israel, and every prince gave him a cool stick, one for each prince based on their fam's crib. There were like 12 sticks in total, and Aaron's stick was part of the bunch, just like one stick per prince, you know. So Moses put the rods in front of the Lord in the chill tabernacle. So the next day, Moses went into the tabernacle of witness, and guess what? Aaron's rod for the house of Levi had sprouted with buds, blossoms, and even almonds growing on it. So Moses got all the rods and showed them to the Israelites, and they checked them out, and each person took their own rod. So God told Moses to bring Aaron's staff back and put it in front of the sacred chest as a reminder for those who rebel against him. This will help put an end to all their complaining and prevent any more deaths. So Moses did it exactly as the Lord told him to. So the Israelites were like, yo, Moses, listen up. We're literally going to die. Like, we're totally doomed straight up. Like, anyone who gets too close to the Lord's pad is toast. Are we seriously going to get smoked? Numbers 18. Where are we at? There we go. Yo, Aaron, listen up. You and your homies, along with your pops and fam, got to take responsibility for all the wrong stuff that goes down in the sanctuary. And don't forget, you and your crew are accountable for any mistakes made in your priest game. And like, make sure you bring your bros from the tribe of Levi, which is like your dad's tribe, so they can like join you and serve you. But you and your squad, you'll be the ones serving in front of the tabernacle. Yo. And they got to stay on top of all your responsibilities, making sure everything in the tabernacle is in order. Just remember, they can't go near the sacred stuff and the altar. Otherwise, they and even you might end up bite the dust. And they're going to be on your squad, keeping the tabernacle game strong, taking care of all the tabernacle duties, and no random person going to be getting close to y'all for real. And you got to make sure you look after the sanctuary and the altar, so there's no more anger vibes directed towards the kids of Israel. Yo, check it out. I've got your bros, the Levites, taking from the Israelite squad. They're straight up gift for the Lord, assigned to handle the duties at the tabernacle. So like, you and your homies got to be responsible for doing all the priestly stuff at the altar and behind the curtain. It's your job, you know. Consider it a special gift, bro. Oh, and if some random person tries to do your job, they'll face the ultimate consequence. Yo, Aaron, listen up. I'm hooking you up with the responsibility of handling all the sacred offerings from the peeps of Israel. I'm giving them to you and your squad because of the special anointing, and it's going to be a forever thing. These are the legit sacred stuff that can't be burned. All their offerings, food offerings, sin offerings, and trespass offerings that they give to me are like super holy for you and your squad. You got to chow down on this holy food in the holiest hangout spot. All the bros got to eat it, no exceptions. This grub is sacred for you, no joking around. So this is yours like a cool gift from the Israelites. All these awesome offerings, and they're waving around. I've totally given them to you, your kids, and even your daughters forever. Oh, and just to be clear, anyone who's chill and pure in your fam can have a feast with it. I've hooked you up with top-notch oil, the premium wine, and the freshest wheat, the cream of the crop that they'll be offering to the Lord. See, that's why the people are complaining. You're setting all this stuff up for your family and not looking out for the other tribes. That's why they're complaining. But then you open up the ground, burn them up. Terrible. Like whatever is the first and best from the land that you bring to the Lord is totally yours. All the cool people in your house can totally chow down on it. See, that's not fair. I see why Jesus revised everything. You totally get to keep anything dedicated in Israel. Wow. Yo, anything that comes out first from humans or animals like babies and stuff that people bring to the Lord, it's all going to be yours. But wait, you got to make sure to redeem the firstborn of humans and the firstling, of unclean animals. Got to save or buy back, And anyone who needs to be redeemed from the age of 1 month onward, you should redeem them by paying 5 shekels based on your estimate, using the value of the sanctuary shekel, which is 20 gerahs. But yo, don't even think about cashing in on a firstborn cow, sheep, or goat, because they're sacred, you feel? Got to sprinkle their blood on the altar and burn up their fat as a fire offering that smells really good to the Lord. You can totally have their flesh like it's yours, just like you own the wave, breast, and the right shoulder. Yo, all the dope offerings that the Israelites give to the Lord, I've given to you. See, that's not fair. And your squad sons and daughters included forever and ever. It's like a legit salty covenant before the Lord for you and your fam and for generations to come. No cap. And God, see, they get rich off the people. And God said to Aaron, dude, you won't get any land or be a part of their stuff. But guess what? I'm your squad and your ultimate inheritance among the peeps of Israel. Yo, check it out. I've hooked up the Levi tribe with a solid 10% of all the stuff in Israel as their rightful share for the work they put in, specifically for all the tasks they handle in running the tabernacle where everyone gathers. Yo, Israel fam, y'all can't be going near the tabernacle anymore unless you want to carry sin on your shoulders and end up dead. Like seriously dead. And I mean dead, no cap. Yo, the Levites are responsible for handling all the stuff related to the meeting place, and they got to take responsibility for any wrong they do. This rule is going to be in place forever for all y'all future generations of Israelites, because the Levites ain't going to get any land inheritance like the others. So like the Israelites do this thing called tithing, where they give a portion of their stuff as an offering to the Lord. And instead of the Israelites keeping it for themselves like an inheritance, I've given it to the Levites. So now they won't have their own inheritance among the Israelites, Yo, God came through for Moses and said, yo, listen up, Levites. When you're collecting tithes from the peeps of Israel, the ones I've set aside for you as your inheritance, make sure to give a portion of it as a special offering to the Lord. It's like 1/10 of the whole tithe. You feel me? And you should totally count the awesome contribution of yours as if it were the sickest harvest from your farm or the raddest amount of juice from your winery. So like you got to give a sick offering to the Lord from all your tithes that you get from the Israel peeps. And then make sure to give the Lord's offering to Aaron the priest. You got to offer up all the awesome stuff you got as an offering to the Lord, like the best of the best. Make sure it's super holy and separated from the rest. The best here means the super fatty parts. So here's what you got to tell them. Once you've set aside the absolute best stuff, that's when it gets credited to the Levites as a boost to their income. It's like the bonus from the threshing floor and the wine press. Best in Hebrew means fat. So like you and your peeps can totally chow down on this food anywhere, like wherever you want, in your crib and stuff. Because this is like your payday for being so dedicated to serving in the hangout spot known as the tabernacle. And don't worry, you won't be sinning if you set aside the best part of it. Also, make sure you don't mess with any sacred things that belong to the Israelites unless you want to face some serious consequences. Numbers 19. So God talked to Moses and Aaron like legit, said, yo, here's the deal from the big guy upstairs. He's telling the Israelites to find a totally flawless, spotless, never been used for work red heifer. That's the law, fam, so spread the word. And you got to hand her over to Eleazar the priest so he can take her out of the camp, and one of you should take her down right in front of him. Then Eleazar the priest will take some of her blood and sprinkle it directly in front of the meeting tent 7 times. And someone will totally incinerate that heifer right in front of it. Oh, Lord, have mercy. Incinerate the heifer. Lord, have mercy. Like every inch of the skin, flesh, blood, and even the poop got to go up in flames. No joke. Then the priest grabs some cedar wood, hyssop, poor heifer, and scarlet, and tosses them right in the fire with the heifer. After that, the priest got to wash his clothes, take a shower, then he can join the squad again, but he gonna be considered unclean until the evening. And the person who burns her shall like clean their clothes with water and like wash their body with water, and they'll be like unclean until the evening. So like this dude who's pure, he's got to collect the ashes of the cow and stash them outside the camp in a clean spot. It's going to be saved for the whole Israelite crew as a way to purify themselves from sin. You know, it's like a special water that separates them from the bad stuff. Whoever collects the ashes of the heifer got to wash their clothes and stay unclean until evening. This rule goes for the peeps of Israel, even the strangers visiting them. It's going to be a forever thing. Yo, if you come in contact with a dead body, you're going to be unclean for a whole week. It's like a serious rule, you know. Take note, fam. So like he's got to use it to cleanse himself on the 3rd day. And if he skips that, then he won't be clean by the 7th day. If anyone touches a dead body and doesn't cleanse themselves, they make the sacred place unholy in the eyes of the Lord. And that person will be kicked out of Israel because they didn't get sprinkled with the special water to purify themselves. So they're still unclean and covered in their impurity. Yo, listen up. Here's the deal. If someone kicks the bucket in a tent, everyone who goes in or stays inside the tent will be considered unclean for a whole week. And any open container that doesn't have a lid on it is considered dirty. If anyone touches a dead body, a bone, or a grave in the open fields, they'll be considered unclean for a whole week. And if someone is considered unclean, they should take some of the ashes from the burnt heifer used for purifying from sins and add some fresh water to it in a container. The ashes are like dusty stuff, and the water should be flowing and alive. So like get someone who's got their act together and give them some hyssop. Then they got to dip it in water and sprinkle that stuff all over the tent. The things inside the tent, the people in the tent, and even anyone who came in contact with a bone or someone who was killed, a dead person or a grave. The hygienic person got to sprinkle water on the not so hygienic person on the 3rd day and the 7th day. On the 7th day, they got to clean themselves up, wash their clothes, take a good bath, and be all fresh and clean by the evening. But anyone who is unclean and doesn't cleanse themselves will be excluded from the community. They've made the Lord's sacred place impure and haven't been purified with the cleansing water. They're dirty. This rule is super important. Anyone who sprays the special water has to wash their clothes, and anyone who touches the water is going to be unclean until nighttime. Like it's a forever thing, man. Like anything the unclean person touches is going to be unclean. And anyone who touches it is going to be unclean until evening. Numbers chapter 20. So all the Israelites, like the whole crew, went to the desert of Zin in the beginning of the year. They set up camp in Kadesh, and unfortunately, Miriam passed away and was laid to rest there. So like there was like zero water for everyone, and they all got super mad at Moses and Aaron. The people totally went off on Moses, saying like, dude, we wish we had kicked the bucket like our homies before the Lord. Why did you have to drag us and all our animals out into this deserted place to die? Why did you even bring us out of Egypt just to bring us to this terrible place? There's no food, no figs, no vines, no pomegranates, and not even any water to drink. So Moses and Aaron bounced out of the crowd, headed to the entrance of the tabernacle where everyone was meeting up. I guess you're ready to kill them again. They totally dropped to the ground on their faces, mind blown when they saw the epic presence of the Lord. Yo, the big man upstairs talked to Moses like, yo, grab that rod and gather up the squad, you and your bro Aaron. Then speak to the rock in front of everyone and check it. The rock will straight up gush water, and you'll hook up the whole crew and their animals with a refreshing drink. So Moses grabbed the rod like God told him to. So Moses and Aaron got everyone to meet up by this big rock, right? Then Moses is like, listen up, you rebels. Do we have to seriously get water from this rock for you? Yes, because the folk are thirsty. What you think, Moses? You're crazy to think that they're out there and don't need. Now you starting to get on my nerves now. The people want some water. They need something to drink. Old people out there, kids are out there, and you get mad because they want some water. So Moses raised his hand with his staff, struck the rock 2 times, and like a ton of water gushed out. And everyone in the crew drank, including their animals. Pretty epic, if you ask me. So like God was talking to Moses and Aaron, he was like, yo, since you didn't have faith in me and make me holy in front of the Israelites, neither of you will be leading them to the land, I promise. Now, see, that's what you get. God doesn't like ugly. And calling down all these judgments on the people and everything, that's what you get. Good for you. I don't feel sorry for you. I did it one time. I don't feel sorry for you now. This is the story of the time, because you wouldn't put yourself in the people's place. People were thirsty. The animals were thirsty. They're out there in the heat, and you get mad at them because they want some water. This is the story of the time the Israelites had a huge argument with God at Meribah. He showed his holiness through it. Just so you know, Meribah means strife. So Moses DM'd some messengers to the king of Edom, and he was like, yo, bro, Israel here. You know all the craziness we've been through, right? Like, seriously, it's been a lot of drama. So, yeah, our ancestors totally migrated to Egypt, and, like, we've been chilling there for, like, ages. But those Egyptians were, like, total terrible people and gave us a hard time, along with our ancestors, man. So, like, we were totally crying to the Lord, and you won't believe it, but he actually heard us and sent an angel to rescue us from Egypt. And guess what? Now we're chilling in Kadesh, which is the 6th city right on the edge of our territory. Hey, can we please pass through your turf? Don't worry, we won't wander off into the fields or vineyards, nor will we take a sip from the wells. We'll stick to the main road, nor detours to the right or the left until we're out of your territory. And Edom said, now, what do you think the Edomites are going to say? Now, you all had strife all these centuries. You think they're going to go for that? And Edom said to him, no way, dude. You better not try to come through here, because I'll straight up come at you with my sword. You knew they were going to do that. You know the whole story of Jacob and Esau. Why would you even stir that up, Moses? Now, you're starting to slip here a little bit. Yo, the Israelites were like, we'll take the main road, fam. And if me and my animals need a sip of water, don't worry, I'll pay you up. I just want to pass through without causing any extra trouble, you feel? He was like, no way, you're not coming through. But then Edom straight up rolled up on him with the whole squad and some serious power. So Edom straight up rejected giving Israel a detour through their turf, causing Israel to bounce and go another way. So like all the Israelite peeps, including the whole squad, bounced from Kadesh and arrived at this lit place called Mount Hor. Yo, the Lord straight up talked to Moses and Aaron on Mount Hor by the coast of the land of Edom. Like, yo, he was saying, Israel's going to join his crew because he ain't going to step foot in the land I hooked up for the Israelites. Y'all straight up defile my word at the water of Meribah. Word up. Yo, grab Aaron and his boy Eleazar and take them to the top of Mount Hor, okay? I might have said Israel in verse 24, but it's Aaron. Take away Aaron's clothes and put them on his son Eleazar. Aaron will join his ancestors and die there. Like I said before, if I was Aaron, I wouldn't go top no mountain with Moses. Moses got some problems. So Moses did what the Lord said, and they all went up to the top of Mount Hor, dumb Aaron, with the entire crew watching. So Moses took off Aaron's clothes, that's where I draw the line right there, and gave them to his son Eleazar. Then Aaron died there on top of the mountain. Now, how did he die? Did Moses kill him? Moses and Eleazar came down from the mountain together. And when everyone in the crew saw that Aaron had passed away, they were all bummed out for a whole month. Yeah, all of Israel was feeling it. I'd be tired of Moses by now. I'd be like, I've had enough of you. Numbers 21. So there was this Canaanite king named Arad living in the south. He got wind that the Israelites, who sent some spies in advance, were on their way. He decided to go all out and attack the Israelites, managing to capture a few of them as prisoners. And Israel made a promise to the Lord and was like, if you actually let me win against these people, I'll totally wipe out their cities. So like God totally listened to Israel and gave them the victory over the Canaanites. They straight up wiped them out along with all their cities, and they named the place Hormah, which basically means total destruction. So they left Mount Hor, and they took the route by the Red Sea to go around the land of Edom. And let me tell you, the people were really bummed out, like super discouraged, because of the long and tiring journey. And the people were like totally dissing God and Moses, asking them why they took us out of Egypt just to let us die in this boring desert. Like we don't even have bread or water. And this plain bread is like totally grossing us out. So like the Lord was not happy with the people, and he sent these super gnarly, fiery serpents to bite them. It was intense, man. Sadly, a lot of the Israelites ended up dying from those snake bites. So the people went up to Moses and were like, all right, we messed up. We talked smack about the Lord and even about you. Can you please hit up the Lord and ask him to get rid of these snakes? And Moses was like, sure thing. And he prayed to the Lord for the people. And God was like, yo, Moses, make a snake that's all lit up and put it on a stick. And here's the deal. Anyone who got bit by a snake, if they look at that snake on the stick, they won't die and they'll keep on living. So Moses whipped up this sick bronze snake and stuck it on a pole. And you won't believe it, but if anyone got bit by a snake, all they had to do was look at that bronze snake and they were good to go and alive and kicking. So the Israelites moved on and set up camp in Oboth. They moved on from Oboth and set up camp at Abiram in the desert before Moab, facing east toward the sunrise. Abiram means piles of Abiram. Then they moved on and set up camp in the Zered Valley. So they moved and set up camp across Arnon, which is in the wilderness on the outskirts of Amorite territory. Arnon marks the boundary between Moab and the Amorites, you know. So like in this ancient book called The Wars of the Lord, it tells us all about the epic stuff he did by the Red Sea and the brooks of Arnon. It's like, whoa, can you even imagine the power and awesomeness displayed there? Game changer, dude. Hashtag mind blown. And at the river where the cool brooks flow, heading towards the chill vibes of our spot, chilling right near the Moab's boundary, leaneth, basically rest, bro. And then they went to Beer. That's the well where the Lord spoke to Moses and said, get everyone together and I'll hook them up with some water. And Israel dropped this sick verse like, yo, let that well flow. Sing your heart out to it. Flow up, Hebrew ascend. Sing or respond. The royal squad started digging the well alongside the cool crew of the people, guided by the lawgiver, armed with their sticks. And they kept moving from the wilderness to Mattanah. And like from Mattanah to Nahaliel, and from Nahaliel to Bamoth. And from this dope place called Bamoth in the valley, which is in Moab, all the way to the lit top of Pisgah, where you can peep the sick view towards Jeshimon. By the way, Jeshimon means wilderness. So Israel hit up Sihon, the king of the Amorites, with a DM like, yo, can we slide through your turf? We won't trespass on your crops or vineyards, or even sip your well water. We'll just stick to the main road until we're out of territory. And like Sihon was like totally not cool with letting Israel enter his turf. But instead, Sihon got his peeps together and straight up confronted Israel out in the middle of nowhere. They rolled up to Jahaz and started a full-on battle with Israel. And Israel totally defeated them with their swords and took over his land from Arnon to Jabbok, right up to the Ammonites' territory, because the Ammonites were no joke when it came to defending their border. So Israel conquered all these cities and settled in the land of the Amorites, including Heshbon and all its surrounding towns. Towns in Hebrew means daughters. Yo, Heshbon used to be ruled by Sihon, the boss of the Amorites. He straight up went head to head with the previous king of Moab and swooped in, taking all his land all the way to Arnon, no cap. So like people who are all wise and stuff say, hey, let's head to Heshbon and build up Sion City, you know, get it all ready and stuff. Yo, there's straight up fire coming out of Heshbon like a lit flame from the city of Sion. It's totally wrecked by Ar of Moab and the big shots chilling at the high places of Arnon. Goodness, Moab, you're in deep trouble, peeps of Chemosh. Their sons and daughters got captured by Sihon, the Amorite king. We straight up wrecked them, like Heshbon got totally destroyed to Dibon. And we totally trashed them all the way to Nophah and Medeba. So Israel was chilling in the Amorites' turf. So Moses was like, yo, let's check out Jaazir and see what's up. And they totally took over the whole town, kicking out those Amorites who were chilling there. Then they took a detour through Bashan, and guess who showed up? Og, the king of Bashan, and his whole crew ready to fight them at Idrei. Yo, Moses, don't stress. I got your back. I'm handling this dude, his crew, and his turf over to you. Do to him what you did to the Sihon guy, the Amorite king who ruled in Heshbon. So they totally wrecked him, his sons, and all his squad until there was literally no one left alive, and they straight up took over his land. Numbers chapter 22. So the Israelites moved on and camped in the chill plains of Moab across the Jordan River near Jericho. So like Balak, this dude who is Zipporah's son, he totally witnessed all the epic stuff that Israel pulled off against the Amorites, you know. Moab was upset, man, because the Israelites were like a huge crowd. It was giving them major anxiety and stress. So Moab goes to the older peeps in Midian and he's like, dude, these guys are going to totally obliterate everything around us. Just like when an ox chows down on grass in the field. And Balak, Zipporah's son, was rocking the crown as the king of the Moabites back then. So like he totally hit up some messengers to get in touch with Balaam. You know, Beor's kid from Pethor, which by the way is by the river where his homies live. He wanted Balaam to come over because he noticed this huge crowd of peeps who dipped from Egypt. And they're legit everywhere, like flooding the whole place. And they're camped right across from me, like right in my backyard. Yo, hear me out. Could you do me a solid and put a curse on these people? They're way too strong for me to handle. Maybe if we take them out, I'll have a chance at kicking them out of the land. I know that whoever you bless ends up blessed, and whoever you curse is well cursed. So like the old guys from Moab and Midian, right? They went off with their divination stuff in hand and they found Balaam and started talking to him, delivering him the message from Balak. So he was like, stay here for the night and I'll hit you up with the message that the Lord gives me. And the Moabite leaders chilled out with Balaam. And God approached Balaam and asked, who are these dudes chilling with you? So like Balaam was talking to God and he was all like, dude, Balak, son of Zippor, the Moab king, sent me this message. Yo, check it out. There's this nation that straight up left Egypt and they're everywhere, bro. You feel me? Anyway, trying to put a curse on them and maybe I'll have a shot at beating them and kicking them out. Who knows? Maybe I'll have the upper hand in this fight. And God was like, Balaam, sorry, buddy, you can't roll with them. You got to keep those curses to yourself because these people, they're totally blessed, you know. So like Balaam woke up in the morning and he was all like, hey, Balak's peeps, head back to your own turf because God's not giving me the green light to roll with y'all. So the Moabite leaders decided to approach Balak and told him, Balaam won't roll with this dude. So Balak decided to send even more important and respected princes this time. So like Balak, Zipporah's son, went to Balaam and was all like, dude, nothing should like stop you from coming to me, okay? Don't let anything get in your way. Yo, I'm about to hook you up with some major respect and do whatever you ask of me. So do me a solid and drop a curse on these folks, please. And Balaam was like, yo, Balak's people, listen up. Even if Balak offered me a whole crib filled with mad stacks of cash and bling, I can't stray from what the Lord my God has said. I got to stay true and not do anything more or less. Hey, guys, listen up. Can y'all just chill here with me tonight? I really want to find out what God's going to tell me next, you know? So like God showed up to Balaam in the middle of the night and was all like, hey, dude, if these guys come to get you, get up and go with them. But just FYI, you got to do exactly what I tell you when I say it. So Balaam woke up bright and early, hopped on his ride, and rolled with the Moab crew. And God was like really upset because he went that way. Now, why are you upset? You told him to go. That's confusing. You told him to go, and now you're upset that he went. What's the man supposed to do? And this angel from the Lord showed up like as a total obstacle to stop him. And he was just riding on his donkey with his two friends riding along too. And the donkey saw the angel of the Lord blocking the path with her sword drawn, and the donkey quickly veered off the road and ran into the field. So Balaam hit the donkey to get her back on track. But like this angel, right, they were standing in the middle of a vineyard with walls on both sides. Pretty epic, huh, to be honest. And like when the donkey spotted the Lord's angel, she totally got upset and jammed herself against the wall, accidentally squishing Balaam's foot, and he like hit her in response. Then the angel of the Lord went on and positioned himself in a super tight spot where there was literally no way to escape or turn in any direction. And when the donkey peeped the angel of the Lord, she totally tripped up Balaam, and Balaam got crazy mad and hit the donkey with a stick. So like the Lord right makes the donkey talk, and she's like, "Hey, Balaam, what's up with you hitting me 3 times? What did I do to deserve that?" And Balaam was like, "Dude, seriously? You're totally making fun of me right now. Ugh, if I only had a sword, I'd totally want to smack you with it." And the donkey was like, "Dude, I've been your ride or die donkey since forever. Have I ever done you wrong like this before?" And Balaam was like, "Nah, man." So like God suddenly made Balaam see this angel dude just standing there with a sword in his hand. And Balaam totally got upset, man. He immediately bowed down his head and fell flat on his face. It was intense, bro. And the angel of the Lord was like, "Dude, why'd you hit your donkey 3 times? I came here to stop you because your path is totally messed up, you know, in a bad way. Why are you trying to stop me? God told me to go." This doesn't make sense at all. And the donkey saw me, avoided me 3 times. If she hadn't avoided me, I would have definitely killed you, but spared her. Balaam admitted to the angel of the Lord, "I messed up. I had no idea you were standing in my way. If it bothers you, I'll turn back." And the angel of the Lord was like, "Yo, Balaam, roll with the squad." See, now you're confused. Go with the squad. Don't go with the squad. I won't go with the squad. No, go with the squad. But only say what I tell you to say. So Balaam was down to hang with Balak's peeps. And when Balak found out that Balaam had arrived, he went to meet him in the city of Moab, near the border of Arnon, which is the farthest region. Yo, Balak was like, "Bro, didn't I like seriously hit you up and ask you to come through? Why didn't you show up? I totally have the power to hook you up with mad respect and success. Am I right?" And Balaam was like, "Hey, Balak, I'm here now. Can I even say anything on my own? I'm just going to speak the words that God puts in my mouth, you know." So Balaam and Balak rolled up to Jehoshaphat, you know, the city with all those lit streets. So Balak flexed with some lit oxen and sheep and hit up Balaam and his squad of princes. The next day, Balak brought Balaam to the top places where Baal was worshipped so that he could get a view of the whole crowd. Well, put these words in the comment section. This is the word of the Lord. Follow, like, and subscribe. Hit that arrow at the bottom of the screen and share this video. Shall we pray? Lord, like the scripture says, when my heart is overwhelmed, lead me to the rock that's higher than I. And it's somewhat overwhelming to see all of this back and forth taking place in this story, almost not really making sense. But as I always pray, if we don't understand, we just need to keep on reading. But it doesn't make sense to be told to go, then almost killed for going. Then you say you're not going to go. Then you're told no to go. So thank you for Jesus Christ bringing clarity to the scriptures, because God is not the author of confusion, but the God of peace. So God, we thank you for peace and understanding what your word has to say to us and receiving the message so we can apply it to our lives. And we ask it all in Jesus' name. All the people of God said, thank God, amen, and put in the comment section, this is the word of the Lord.